Hello? Cool. Full screen. Alright. Alright. Hello everyone, and I have... Would that be offensive? Okay. Since yesterday's... Well, I suppose it'd probably not be too offensive. Because yesterday's video didn't actually record or do anything, I should probably, start a new game. So, we'll play as Catelyn again, even though she freaks me the heck out. Alright. I'll just start Twitch on my phone. Oh. Okay. Alright. So, let's see what I can do here. Oh, you're on the floor. Awesome. That's one step closer to me. Come here, power cord. I must plug the phone in, otherwise I will not see this thing. There we go. Yay! Okay. That music is a bit annoying, I don't know. Bit annoying, but it's probably because apparently you're supposed to stay hydrated, so oh, sorry, drink my tea before it starts cooling down. Okay, so where are we up to? I'll start a new game with Catelyn. I've only gotten to the first week and then I stopped, so this game is cute and slightly disturbing so far, up to the first week. So let's see if I can power through that. Darkness surrounds you, the chill of the night causing small clouds of mist to form with each exhaltation of your deep, ragged breaths. You take a moment to lean up against a streetlight to gather your breath and collect your thoughts. Your eyes furtively look down the street, but for the moment, all is calm. You glance upward as you hear a slight sizzle, the smell of smoke filling your nostrils, and the lights go out. Panic rises, then recedes as the lights return, dimmer than before. Then you hear something coming down from one end of the street. Shadows slowly appear, moving even closer to you, when a faint sound filters into your ears. You glance down at the other end of the street, and shadowy figures slowly come into sight. Your avenues of escape are suddenly cut off. As the shadows advance, you see each streetlight give a final flicker, and then die, enveloping the street in encroaching darkness. Can I... Nice. Beautiful music. Enveloping the street in encroaching darkness. You take a quick glance around and see a small alley. You feel a surge of adrenaline as you sprint into it, only to see that it ends in a brick wall. Your head whips around as the growls get even closer, while the lights are all but gone. You press up against the brick wall when you see a fire escape overhead, the rungs of its ladder just barely out of reach. Near the ground there's a window leading into a basement and a space you just might be able to crawl into. You look around for something to break the window, but there is nothing close at hand. You lower yourself to the ground and with one hard kick you smash the glass. You break it with a satisfying crunch, but find to your dismay that it left some shards left behind in the window frame. Glancing out the corner of your eye, you see the shadowy figures slowly coming your way, their incoherent growls drawing closer. You take off your shirt, wrapping it around your hand as you remove the biggest shards, and then shimmy into the crawl space. When you feel slick, scabrous hands slide along your legs, you try to escape, but feel yourself being pulled back. Yep. Your vision stays fuzzy for several moments as your head feels like it was wrapped in cotton. Woof, woof. You notice a small dark blur at your feet, pulling teasingly on your leg. It senses your wakening and gives a slight joyous yip that nevertheless causes you to wince in pain. Ugh, time to get up. Your eyes focus and you see a rather energetic dog at your feet, happy to see you awake. As you wipe away the last effects of sleep, the dog darts forward and jumps into your arms, licking at your face before nestling into your arms. Okay. Moving on. As a cute puppy. Nick, remind me not to stay out with the girls so late. I barely can keep my eyelids open. Ruff! Nick's answering bark causes you to jump slightly, but it helps drive away the last vestiges of sleep from your head. You glance at the clock and see it reads 9 a.m. You glance towards your bed and it looks like a war broke out between you and the sheets. You give a couple slight stretches, bringing feeling back into your fatigued limbs. Your arms and legs feel like you did a marathon in your sleep, but the reason why escapes you, unable to remember your dream from the night before. Hey, lazy bones, time to get up, breakfast is on. Your stomach growls at this announcement, and Nick barks back in rejoinder. I'll be down in a sec, just give me a few moments to freshen up. As you enter the kitchen, the aroma of fresh cooked pancakes fills the air, causing your mouth to water, and your stomach grumbles in anticipation. Well, good morning to you too. Your face turns red and your stepfather gives you a good-natured grin before he turns to finish cooking. Looking down, you see several links of sausage alongside the plate of pancakes. Oh, I still can't. And the pancakes and the sausage, it's just like, who does that? You see the syrup and the butter, which you want to put on your sausage, but you don't see your favourite jam, which would work on sausage. As if reading your mind, Joshua interrupts your search. I can't help it if you and your stepsister share similar tastes. She finished the raspberry up yesterday for her peanut butter and jelly. I can get some more later. No need to put yourself out. I can get more later. Besides, you might want to recycle this jar. I think the last person to use it was Brandon. How anyone can like grape jam is beyond me. You'd think twins would have similar tastes. So, if you don't mind me asking, what are your plans for today? You grab a plate and put a couple of pancakes on it. You take a deep breath and your stomach quiets in anticipation of the food to come. The position I was hired for doesn't really get going for another 3 months, so I'm a bit at loose ends. I'm thinking of looking for something temporary in the meantime. That sounds good, but it's all right if you want to take it easy for a day or two. and you know your mother and I wouldn't mind helping you out. Thanks, but I'd like to try and get my own place before my job starts, 'cause that always works. I know you and Mum will always be there for me, but I should have my own place by now, you know, what with not having a job or anything like that for a while. Ah, to be young and independent. Still, if you need some help, don't hesitate to ask, 'cause he's not dependent. Ring. Just as you're about to answer, your phone rings. Joshua beckons you to answer it. There's my darling baby girl. How I've missed you. Mom, don't you think it's a little early to make me blush? Don't you dare, especially when I'm not there to pinch your cheek. So, how did Brandon's graduation go? Pretty good, though I couldn't spot him in the sea of people. In fact, we're actually going out for breakfast. I just wanted to wish you congratulations for your own graduation. I wish I could have been there. Think nothing of it. I wish I could have seen Brandon as well, but when both are on the same day. Listen, I've got to go. We're going out for breakfast, but I just wanted to touch base. Give my love to your dad, Sabrina and Nick. Just a few seconds after you hang up the phone, your stepsister, Sabrina, comes into the kitchen. She gives a shy smile upon seeing you and turns her head slightly away when she spies the pancakes. I should have got up sooner. Sabrina grabs a pancake and rolls it around several sausages and takes a big bite out of it. Sorry, just trying not to be sick about that. Actually, Sabrina, there's something I want to talk about. You see, we'll have to talk later, Dad. If I don't go now, I'm going to be late for work. Joshua shakes his head as Sabrina darts out the back door. That girl, I swear. Why does she call him Joshua? Why? Why did he... That girl, I swear, if she doesn't straighten out, she'll be repeating her senior year again. You want me to check on her? Maybe find out if something's wrong? If you wouldn't mind, I would appreciate it. I know she's 18, but... Joshua stops talking as Nick comes up to you, his leash in his mouth, and he sits up, pawing the air and whining for your attention. Does someone want his walkies? Woof, woof, woof. Nick barks in reply, letting the leash hit the ground. Deciding to take your stepfather's advice and take it easy this morning, you make your way through the neighbouring park. Away from the hustle and bustle of school, you can finally take some time for yourself. Of course, one doesn't want to get complacent, as Nick, eager to sniff at every object and water every bush, almost wraps his leash around your necks, around your legs every 10 minutes. Nick, I don't know if it's physically possible for you to hold that much. Woof, cocks his head. What are you talking about? You move ahead a few more feet and then a stabbing pain shoots up from the back of your lower right leg. Your eyes close, but flashes of white still dance before your pupils, and the pain becomes a tightness, as if a vice-like hand suddenly clenches around your leg. Ow! Damn it! You spy a nearby bench and hobble your way to it. Upon sitting, the pain subsides somewhat. Looking more closely at your leg, you see that it is contracted, as if from a severe muscle cramp. The pain starts to ebb away when a shadow falls upon you, momentarily giving you relief from the sun. Everything all right? You turn your head and see Tyrone Marshall smiling at you, from his current attire and the sheen of sweat glistening on his athletic frame. It looks like he was just out after a morning jog before seeing your distress. Mostly, yes. As long as I don't get in another leg cramp, I should be fine. Tyrone's eyes momentarily follow the length of your leg, and his cheeks redden slightly before he focuses on your face again. Oh. Ouch. I hate that. I hate that. Start again. Ouch. I hate when that happens. It helps to stretch and drink plenty of fluids. Preparation makes sense if I was to run a marathon, but to take my dog for a walk? Fair enough. Tyrone takes a seat beside you and he glances toward the lake where Nick is English. Tyrone takes a seat beside you and he glances towards the lake where Nick is busy digging in the soft bank. I'm a little surprised to see you here, actually. I mean, I thought you graduated. I still have a couple of months before I go to my new job, so you might see me around for a while yet. Tyrone briefly glances at you from the corner of his eye, and you can see his lips twitch slightly upwards. So, what will you be doing in the meantime? Nothing much, though I will be doing the job hunt thing, at least for something temporary. A new job before your new job. I guess that works. You know, if you really need something, there is an opening or two with the athletic department. I doubt the cheerleading squad has openings for graduates. Unless you poison some cheerleaders, no. No, it's pretty brain-dead work, like picking up uniforms and what have you. It certainly sounds easy enough. Tyrone starts to say something else when the basketball player suddenly lets out a slight oof after Nick lands on his lap. The dog takes a deep sniff of Tyrone's arm and proceeds to drown him in kisses. I love you. I love you. Could I get a little help here? As you lean down to pick up Nick, you notice that Tyrone's cheeks turns red, while his eyes briefly follow the curve of your back. Thanks. He was getting a little heavy. Does that make sense? With your dog in hand, you see Nick has left mud all over Tyrone's clothes. Tyrone wipes the worst of it off, flicking it away with an easy gesture. I'm so sorry. He's never done that to someone before. Don't worry about it. It was going to be washed after my workout anyways. Speaking of which, I have to get it going. If you are interested in the job, just be sure to come by the athletic department. I better get back. I have to get at least another hour in the court. Oh, sorry. Tyrone. I better get back. I have to get at least another hour in the court. Yeah, my attention span, not really here. Take care. Tyrone smiles and bends down to scratch behind Nick's ears. Don't worry, I won't forget to say goodbye to you as well. With Tyrone's departure, you decide to return home. Fortunately, Nick doesn't give any fuss until you're near the cemetery, where he stops and starts to sniff the ground. While you try to gain his attention, he is quite focused on whatever scent he caught. Something catch your interest, boy? Nick continues to ignore you, much more interested by whatever smell caught his interest. Suddenly, he raises his head, cocks his ears back, and looks into the cemetery. You follow his gaze and see a figure moving among the tombstones. Woof! Nick unexpectedly rushes forward. Surprised, your grip loosens just enough that the leash handle slips from your hand, and Nick suddenly squeezes through the gaps in the cemetery's wrought iron fence. Darn it, Nick! Get back here right this moment. Fine, just for that you're not sleeping at the foot of my bed. Paying no attention to your calls, Nick soon disappears among the assorted headstones. Cursing, you look left and see a gate leading into the cemetery. You enter and move in the rough direction you last saw Nick. If not for the fence behind you, you see how easy one could get lost among the graves. As you stand amidst the multitude of graves, a slight chill creeps along the edge of your spine. For a moment it feels like you are being watched, although you don't notice anything other than the statues looking at you. Then you hear a familiar sharp bark coming from your right. Nick wags his tail as you move towards him. That is when you notice a sheet of paper and a long black implement on the ground. Closer examination of the paper shows an old angel along with some dates on it, and you realize it is a charcoal rubbing of the nearby grave. Oh my, Nick, I think you scared whoever did this off. You bend down to take hold of Nick's leash once more when you hear someone clear their throat behind you. So, why are you following me? You whirl around and see Sabrina behind you, a stern look flitting across her face. I wasn't. I was just chasing the dog. I hope he didn't frighten you, like you're my sister or anything who lives with a dog in her house. Sabrina's face softens and the corner of her mouth edges into a smile. I don't frighten easily. I just thought you were... Well, it isn't important. Is something wrong? Maybe I could help. Who said I needed help? You're acting rather jumpy, you know. Sabrina's eyes narrow and she crosses her arms. I get it. Dad sent you to do his spying, didn't he? He's just concerned. When you get all defensive, well, how can we not be worried? Sabrina's eyes close and she takes a deep breath. I'm sorry, but you're going to have to trust me when I say I can't tell you what's going on. Don't worry, I won't push you on this. Just remember I'm here for you. A strange look flits across your stepsister's face, and for a moment it seems to be a yearning of some kind, and then it disappears. I appreciate it, really. I like the charcoal rubbing. Anything special about it? Not really. I just like the design of the angel and wanted to use it for a reference. Sabrina bends down and rolls out the piece of paper while slipping the charcoal into her pocket. She then cocks her head and looks you in the eye. I couldn't help but overhear you this morning. If you want a job, well, the music shop has an opening if you're interested. Perhaps. What would the job require? Nothing special. Some stocking, some customer service, light cleaning. Any negatives? Well, I would probably be your supervisor. I hardly think being with you is negative. Sabrina's cheeks redden. She bullies on. You might think differently if you join up. Speaking of which, I have the morning shift at the store. I'll catch you after work. Sabrina stretches the back of her neck. Silence reigns for a few more minutes, and off in the distance you can hear a groundskeeper start up a ride-on mower. I wish you and Dad would stop worrying. All it would take is a few... It wouldn't do any good. Listen, I have to get going. I'll talk to you later. Sabrina gives your hand a gentle squeeze, but her grip feels like a vice. She then turns around and disappears amongst the headstones. You leave the cemetery and start making your way back home when you notice the leash has gone taut. Looking down, you see Nick standing stock still, his gaze focused on a person down the street. Nick's hackles are raised, and he's giving a low, if dangerous, growl. You follow Nick's gaze and spy the object of his ire, Ashley Harrington. For as long For as long back as you can remember, Nick never did like Ashley, which made it awkward when she used to be your babysitter. Ashley becomes aware of your presence and gives an enthusiastic wave in your direction. Hey, it's great to see you! Ashley closes the distance between the two of you, a large smile on her face. Then she stops as she finally notices Nick. Grr. Sorry, Ashley. Don't apologize. He's never liked me, even after I gave him half a bag of treats. I remember that night. Your homework looked like confetti when he was done. That was the only time I got a D in an English class. Mrs. Matthews said I could have been more creative than using "a dog ate my homework" on why I didn't finish my assignment. Woof. Ashley takes a tentative step forward when Nick lets out a loud yelp, and then he huddles in close to your heels, trying to keep you between him and Ashley. So, what are you up to now that you're done with school? Applying to graduate school? I'm all schooled out for the moment. Feels nice to have no homework. I know the feeling. I have 2 more years to go myself. Well, what are you doing on this fine day, besides protecting me from grievous bodily harm? Nick growls once more, reinforcing Ashley's statement. I'm just relaxing, but will soon be looking for a summer job. Oh? How is that going? I have a couple ideas, but nothing certain yet. If you need money badly, perhaps, you know what? Never mind. Never mind what? Well, I was going to say that a couple people quit where I work, and they are looking to fill their spots. Sweet. So, what is the job and why do they leave? Well, that is sort of why I said never mind. In retrospect, I shouldn't have said anything. Whatever it is, it can't be that bad, not unless I'm transporting illegally harvested kidneys, 'cause that's your level of... Oh God, Catelyn. No, nothing like that. It's just, well, I do some dancing on the side. Something tells me this isn't tap dancing. Well, not me. Bridget, on the other hand, sorry to get off track. Yes, I'm an exotic dancer. So, I would become one as well? No, however, we've had some other staff members move on. One of our bartenders ran off to Las Vegas with one of our bouncers, leaving us in a bit of a lurch. I'll be the bouncer. Ashley goes quiet as you feel her gaze go up and down your body. Get away from me. So, if you think you'd have a problem working at a strip club... It's an honest living. A job is a job. As long as it isn't illegal, I don't see a problem. Except with maybe me doing it, but you know. Ashley gives a smile which seems to light up her face. Well, I'll email you the details later. Ashley looks at her wrist. Not her phone, not her watch, just her wrist, and does a slight double take. Will you look at the time? It's 1/2 a freckle. I'm sorry to cut this short, but I have to run. As you continue down the street, you feel a by now familiar tautness on the leash. Glancing at Nick, you find his head is cocked and tries to pull you down what appears to be an abandoned alley. What is it, boy? Do you see something? You will have to wait. We're late enough as it is. We don't want them to unleash the hounds to find us. Oh. Nick gives an imploring glance up at you and gives a soft plaintive whine, when the air is broken by the sound of a large crash and a loud cry of, "Ah!" Woof, woof, woof. Oh my, that sounded painful. All right, Nick, since you noticed it, lead the way. Ruff. lurches forward, this time leading you through a small maze of alleys when the memory of a dream crosses your awareness. You could swear you heard the stomping of feet, the rush of fear as you tried to escape from your nightmarish pursuers. You glance over your shoulder and, much to your relief, find the place is empty, save for you, Nick, and one other person, a young blonde man you know from the university. At the moment he is lying amongst the ruins of a broken crate. "Victor, are you alright?" Victor gives a quick, cursory glance down his body and offers you a slight smile. "Other than some minor lacerations, I appear to be fine. Maybe some splinters in my butt." You reach down and offer your hand. Victor's face blushes slightly, but he takes offered appendage? And you feel a slight tingle in your fingers and notice the hair standing up on the back of your hand. This guy is creepy. Yo. "Beauty, I didn't think to compromise the structural integrity of the box." "At least you weren't injured. I don't think I could have carried you out of here." Victor pushes his glasses up slightly and shrugs. "I've suffered greater injuries in my investigations. This is minor at best." "What brought you out here anyways?" Victor takes a look at the abandoned building, and that's when you notice several cameras hidden throughout the structure. "My father was considering purchasing this property, but was unsure if it would have been worth the investment. There were stories of... well, it doesn't really matter." "They could have used this for Halloween, and it looks like it could have been haunted, because half the buildings on the block is actually, you know..." Victor tenses up, then gives a minor cough. "I didn't find the presence of spectral activity." "Seeing as you're fine, I'm going to head on out, because this is not creepy at all, this place." Still, I appreciate your assistance. Speaking of which, if you happen to know someone who is in need of employment this summer, I could use their help." "I might have someone in mind. What kind of job is it?" "Nothing major. Just someone to help me in my investigations. If you know someone who's interested, just have them call me." Victor glances skyward and scrunches his eyes. "It looks like rain." You follow Victor's gaze and see a vast expanse of blue broken up by just a couple of small fluffy white clouds. "Are you sure? There is no dark cloud in sight, and the news didn't predict any rain." "Are you calling me a liar?" I didn't Calling me a liar? I don't know. What do you reckon? I don't know. Last time I really ticked him off. Because he's just suddenly extremely shirty. I was just like, I'll pick a fight with you, mate. I don't know. Well, he didn't get hit. He sat down on a box. Of course not. No, but I think you might be mistaken. Trust me, I know these things. I shall offer you my goodbye. I don't want to be caught outside when the storm hits. With a slight wave of his hand, the arrogant Victor goes down another part of the alley and then disappears from sight. No. You've had quite this adventure, but it's time to head home. Nick starts to pace alongside you once more when you hear a faint rumbling in the skies, the sound of distant thunder. You haven't been making your way back home for more than 15 minutes, when the day suddenly darkens. Looking skyward, ominous clouds have rolled in. Ow! Suddenly your eyes go temporarily blind as white light fills the air and a crack of thunder rumbles close by. Heavy drops of rain start to fall, and within a few minutes you are soaked to the bone. Thanks, Victor. I was nice to you and everything. Nick continues to whine, lifting a paw in supplication until you pick him up in your arms. The wuss. You huddle underneath the awning of the haunted cafe, a local coffee shop and bakery purported to be haunted. I guess that would be how it works. Meanwhile, you see a figure running down the street, her clothes clinging to her body. Ew. You recognize her as Mrs. Murphy. You took a class or two of hers to fill out electives back when you were in college. How old are you? Done! It's raining like cats and dogs. Urgh. Oh, very well. It's raining like cats. Are you satisfied? Ruff. I can't say I wasn't warned. Victor said a tempest was coming. That boy has a sixth sense about this stuff, that's for sure. Did he say how long it was going to last? No, Mrs. Murphy. Please, now that you've graduated, please call me Nadia. If you say so, Mrs. Nadia. It takes a little getting used to, I know. Nadia looks briefly skyward and then shakes her head. Rather than catch our death of a cold, why don't we go in? That sounds delightful, but I don't think they'll let me bring Nick in, and I'm not going to pretend he's service animal. Trust me, they won't make a fuss. Nadia steps to the side, opening the door with one hand. With an exaggerated flourish of her arm. After you! Welcome to the haunted cafe. I hope you don't mind me bringing in my dog. Dog? Oh, is that one of those new electronic pets? It looks so realistic. Woof. They need to work on the bark, though. Make it sound more realistic. You cast a slight glance at Nadia's direction, but she gives a slight shrug of her shoulders. There's my headphones falling off my head. Excuse me. Sorry, I didn't mean to get distracted by your toy. Feel free to stay in here until the rain eases up. If you want something, just holler. I'll have one hot chocolate, heavy on the whipped cream. What are you having? Always with a hot chocolate. Good choice. As you can probably guess, hot chocolate fuels my veins. Nadia takes a seat at a nearby booth and she looks at the sudden downpour out the window. I'm a little surprised to see you, actually. Once they graduate, most students die horribly. Leave? If only I could. Oh, you still live at home? Yeah, it's only until my job kicks in, but that's a couple months down the road. I don't mean to pry, but what are you doing in the meantime? Oh, I intend to get a little something to tide me over. I have a few solid job leads at least. Nadia puts her hands together and closes her eyes. Well, if you want one more offer, I could use an assistant. I'm working on a new book and could use some help. What sort of help? Oh, it's a mixed bag, to be honest, but it pays well. After about 10 more minutes of conversation, you see that the rain is finally coming to an end. Nadia pulls out a napkin and writes a series of numbers on it, because that's how numbers work. Listen, I have to get going, but if this sounds like something you might want to do, give me a call. I'm back. Thank goodness. I admit I was a little worried when that rainstorm hit and you didn't get back. I thought Nick got loose. You know how he gets with a small hint of thunder. Nick was a total sweetheart. Weren't you, Bye? Weren't you? Ruff. You bend down and run a hand through Nick's wet fur, and he gives out a contented pant. I happened to run into a few friends and spent some time catching up. That's why I was late. Oh, speaking of friends, someone named Kisumi called. What? Someone? She must have lost my number again. Yeah, I was going to go out with a couple friends tonight. Is that all right? He doesn't know her friend? That's weird, all right. You don't have to ask my permission, although if you need a ride home, you know I would never do something like that. Leave myself in their lurch, I guess. I know, you can't blame a father for worrying. And I appreciate it. This will change of dress is like, why are you not wearing pants? Your footsteps echo quietly on the sidewalk and you're a bit surprised that there aren't more students out celebrating. For a moment you wish you had brought a jacket, as the air is much chillier than you expected. Still, it is a welcome change from the earlier heat of the day. As you walk down the street, the buildings seem to take on a slightly more sinister appearance, the absence of people especially telling. You see two quite distinct figures up ahead, engaged in a good-natured argument. They are two of your closest friends from college, Kasumi and Nathan. Kasumi hasn't decided on a major yet, though she swears she is getting closer to one. Nathan is studying to be a doctor, with plans to go back to help his people on the reservation. There you are. Good. Maybe you can settle something between us. What are you arguing about now? I hope it's not about who makes the hotter vampire. Wow, you must be psychic. How did you guess? Because you two seem to have this argument twice a week. Besides, everyone knows it is Ronan Drake from Crimson Shadows. Please, Cassandra from Blood Covenant has him beat. Once inside, you spend a comfortable hour talking with your friends and enjoying the rather tasty meal from the bar. One thing I won't miss is the smell of formaldehyde. It seeps into everything. Wrinkles her nose. Tell me about it. I could tell what class you were taking from a mile away. Could we not talk about bodies? They didn't. They were talking about chemical. At least not while we're eating. You fussy little girl, okay? Is everything alright? You look a bit green. I'm fine. Just had a long day because, I spent like 3 hours out with my dog. I'll say, Tyrone won't stop talking about you. Oh? What did he have to say about? Can we save the gossip for later, when I'm out of the room? Oh, fine. So, what is everyone going to do this summer? I'm going to Japan. My parents want to see our family, so I decided to go with. Oh, that sounds like fun. Maybe one day I will get to go. Easy for you to say. You know how bad it is when people assume you speak Japanese, but don't? Ugh, that would be bad. Still, at least you don't have people wanting to call you Chief as a nickname. Hey, at least I didn't ask you what my spirit animal was. Guilty party right there. And I appreciate it. Now, I'm going home, as it were. It will be nice to see my family as well. And you, Caitlin? Pretty much staying in town, and a few dollars before I start my job this fall. I'm going to miss the both of you, you know that? Arm movement, yay! Kasumi raises her drink, and you and Nathan do as well, and bring them together in a small clink. Ting. The conversation starts to wind down, and soon you're left with little to say. I think I'm going to play some karaoke. Either of you wish to join? Just this once I will. What about you, Caitlin? You two go have fun. I'm going to sit here and finish my drink. Time seems to slow to a crawl after your friends leave. Just as you are about to get up, you hear a slight cough behind you. Turning around, you see a rather imposing man, sporting dark sunglasses behind you. At night. Ahem. Ah! Where'd you come from, and what do I call you, and how do I get rid of you, and all that stuff. I didn't mean to frighten you, madam, and forgive my lack of manners. I'm Tristan. I'm sorry to intrude, but it appears you have an admirer of sorts. Don't tell me it's you. No, madam. No, I'm not interested in women who don't wear pants. I'm just here to offer you a drink from someone who's quite taken with you. The freak. I would have gone with this one here, and I want to find out exactly how bad this life gets. Tell my admirer no, I don't accept drinks from strangers. 'Cause you don't accept drinks from strangers. I understand, madam. I'll leave you alone, and hope the rest of your evening is pleasant. Oh, the face just crosses her eyes and looks shocked. Oh my god, there's a bee in my nose! Tristan then leans back into the confines of the bar. You start to rise, and for a moment your vision starts to swim. You grasp the nearby wall for support and take a deep breath. You barely notice that Tristan has actually left the drink behind on the counter despite your words, and your wobbling knocked it to the floor. Although you dismiss Tristan, he returns to stand by your side for a few more precious moments. His mouth slightly opens to speak once more when the sound of breaking glass fills the air, this time from behind the bar. If there was a wedding going on, I wouldn't mind so much broken glass. Turns on the corner of his heel and goes to attend to the latest disaster. You take a few more seconds to compose yourself. After a couple more minutes, the vertigo-like symptoms you experienced fade entirely. For the moment you feel perfectly normal, and so you take in your surroundings. Off toward the back, you see your friends deep in conversation with a couple of strangers who seem to be completely into them. However, not everyone else is similarly occupied. In fact, you recognize several people you met earlier in the day. In the back, where several ancient arcade machines still work, you see Tyrone pressed against the wall as if trying to escape into the shadows. Near the bar, Nadia is taking small sips from a rather colourful drink with a pink umbrella in it. She seems to simply be watching people, though her lips quirk in a slight smile when she spies you. Acting oblivious to his surroundings, you notice Victor near the back of the dance floor. However, rather than looking for a prospective partner, he appears to be holding a small electronic gizmo, a device with several blinking lights. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. In a nearby booth, you notice Ashley on what must be one of her nights off. She is nursing a small drink as well, but rather than enjoying the ambience, she is deeply engrossed in a book. You know, going blind. And the lights. Well, the lack of lighting. Finally, you notice a really familiar face. Sabrina. She is holding a rather dark-looking drink, but her attention is focused on a rather gothic-looking redhead in the back. Well, you don't know the redhead's name. You've seen her around a few times, and she definitely has your stepsister's attention. If you wanted to, you could approach one of your acquaintances for further conversation. Oh, Bruce Tyrone. As you approach the backside of the bar, the sound of the various video games are all but engulfed by the music playing elsewhere. Toward the back of the room, you see Tyrone leaning back against the wall. His nostrils flare wide, and you could almost swear he tastes the air when noticing your approach. Sssss. Oh good, it's only you. Phew. Thank you for such a warm welcome. Tyrone's face breaks out into a smile, and he gives a slight chuckle. Sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. Is everything all right? Sort of, and before you ask, it wasn't anything you did. Some of the team wished to go out and party and wanted me to come along, and was alright at first, but then your fan club showed up. Exactly, it isn't so bad if they take no for an answer, but... So, how many phone numbers did you get? Tonight was a slow night. There were only 5 requests. 5? I've only had 4 requests last year. It sounds like a paradise, to be honest, although I'm a little surprised you didn't get more. Well, it's hard to have a vibrant social life when you're neck deep in studying. I hear you. Trying to maintain a 3.5 grade point average while playing basketball. I think it's admirable. I'm glad to see you didn't fall into the jock stereotype. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk about academic stuff, especially now that you've graduated. That's quite alright. I mean, I do enjoy talking with you. I know, and that's what I like about you. You don't care whether I'm a sports star or not. You only care that you're here with me now. Then you might have to hide if you ever met my mom. Oh? Huge basketball fan, especially of you. That's good to know. Huh? What's this? It's a question mark. Question marks don't make sound. Well, when I ask you out, at least I won't have to worry about making a good impression on your mother. The only thing you'd have to worry about is if she asks you for your uniform. Wait, what's this about asking me out? Sorry, that sort of slipped out. I admit I was thinking about it. I mean, I know we don't know each other very well, but, oh. I sort of stuck my foot in my mouth, didn't I? Perhaps we should get to know each other a little better before we go out on a date. That's the point of a date. Pretty sure you don't get to know each other unless you're on... That's fair enough. We won't call it a date. Oh. Love that. A few moments of silence follow when Tyrone almost leaps into your arms. As a loud roar emanates from the game he was leaning against. A blush suffuses his face, and he puts one hand behind his head. I feel like an idiot now. Thank you, game. Sorry. I remember playing this game when I was younger. Now I'm just leaning on it. You peer at the video game and see Exile of Atlantis scrolling across the screen. I always like playing as the whale singer. And burying your foes under a tidal wave of killer whales? Actually, I always liked the narwhal. It reminded me a little of unicorns. I get the feeling they're more than that to you. I surrender under your relentless interrogation. Yes, they are my favorite animal. I still have a stuffed toy from when I was 5. Would appreciate it if you didn't tell anyone that I have a stuffed toy and I'm slightly a geek. Your secret is safe with me. So, speaking hypothetically, if we were to go on a date, what would you, like to do? Oh, but that would be telling, and there is no fun in that. Playing hard to get. Well, I've never been afraid to put in some effort. You... Tyrone acts like he is going to say something more, and then he gives his head a fierce shake. Do you smell that? Is something wrong? It smelled like something was rotting for a moment there. I think I'll go tell the manager. I hope to talk to you later. Bye! You take a deep breath as you decide to approach your stepsister. Given her general flakiness lately, I'm really worried about her as a human being. You don't know how Sabrina will react to your presence, especially if she suspects you are keeping tabs on her. However, your concerns are for naught since Sabrina doesn't even notice you, engrossed as she is in the redhead. You know, if you're interested in her, you should really talk to her. Sabrina jumps slightly in surprise, and almost immediately her cheeks redden with embarrassment. Oh, sorry. I don't think you would have noticed if the bar was on fire for as much attention you were giving her. Catelyn, I didn't even see you there. So, what are you doing here? Are you following me? Sabrina's face darkens as a scowl begins to form on her lips. Did Dad put you up to this? I thought I could trust you. Raise your hands in a placating manner, trying to calm your stepsister down from causing a scene. Who said I was following you? I came here with a couple of friends and the rest of the town. They're a little busy at the moment, but I saw you here alone and thought to say hi. Sabrina relaxes a little and shy smile crosses her lips. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump to conclusions. It's just that Dad, well, you know how he can get. You know he can get. You know how he can get? He's just a little worried. I know, but I have everything under control, I promise. I know you do. So what is her name? You point towards the long-haired, red-headed woman once more for emphasis. I don't know. Her beauty left you speechless. I didn't think that was possible. Now you're just teasing me. Maybe a little. Who would have thought you were attracted to redheads? Sabrina's eyes flick toward you, and her mouth opens as if to say something. Nothing comes out. Instead, her cheeks redden once more, and she turns her gaze away. Sorry, I'll stop teasing you, I promise. It's not that. Sabrina's voice drops off and you are left with a few minutes of awkward silence. Cold tea. Sabrina shakes her head and starts to look down at her feet. Each love interest has 2 different possible alignments, which will determine if the love interest remains with you long term, and the epilogue texts. To unlock the happy epilogues, one of the 2 alignments must reach a value of 10, otherwise the bittersweet dialogue will show. I know it can be tough to ask someone out. However, I could give you some ideas if you were interested. Wait, are you now giving me relationship advice? Just a few tips. Things I picked up along the way. Not that they would work, but they couldn't hurt. Thanks for thinking of me, but I don't need anything, honest. Are you sure? Yes, in fact, that girl is, well, let's just say she is trouble. In fact, I don't recommend you talking with her. Why? She's, well, never mind what she is, just stay away from her. Sabrina finishes off her drink and puts it on the counter with a slight thud. I'm going out. I have a couple other things to do before I call it a night. A middle of the night. Like what? I can't really tell you. Sorry. Well, have that. You take a seat at the bar, because you're now so stupid depressed, and order another drink. For a moment, you allow your mind to wander and manage to find a moment's peace. Looks like you don't have a care in the world. I'll treasure that if I were you. Your eyes snap open and you see a dark-haired man standing several feet away. He is drinking a beverage, one that looks rather familiar to you. It takes a few more seconds when you realize that man's beverage looks like the one your secret admirer sent to you. Are you trying to intimidate me? Perish the thought, as if I would do something so uncouth. Look, I don't even know you, let alone how you would act. And it shall remain that way in light of your previous rudeness. Rudeness? Come, lying doesn't become you. I have no idea what you're talking about. Before the unknown man can answer, another shadow falls upon you. The shadow knows. This time that of the red-haired woman in a gothic dress. Her eyes dart from you to the unknown man and back to you again. Is everything all right here? No, Mrs. Volps. Everything is quite fine. In fact, I was just on my way out to this fine establishment. Mrs. Volps gives the man a measuring look, and when she next speaks, there is a lethal edge to her tone. I'll be keeping my eye on you, Damien. Tut, Mrs. Volps, always with the threats. Why, I didn't know any better. I think you didn't like me. One final word of warning. Don't get on my bad side. You wouldn't like it. I like Mrs. Volps. She's got some gumption. So noted. However, if I may offer a piece of advice to you and this young lady, rudeness may carry its own consequences, ones you may not even dream of. With that last cryptic statement, Damien heads for the exit and leaves almost as quickly as he had entered your life, thank that God. But does he come here often? Because if he does, I promise you he won't grace these premises again. I apologize if he happened to sour your evening's entertainment. You're about to say something else when Nathan and Kasumi saunter up to you. They try to engage in conversation, but from the way they're slurring their speech, you doubt they will remember this evening, let alone carry on a coherent conversation. At least I was spared a massive headache. I better see to getting you guys home. Right. Okay. Now, that took... Yeah. I suppose it took me an extra half an hour yesterday because I was giggling so much. This game is quite cute with a bit of... yeah. Current money, predicted money. Current energy, predicted energy. Oh, I see. Stress can't be predicted but increases each day as energy value decreases, and also based on some dialogue choices. Be careful to not let stress reach 100%. I wish I had one of these in real life. Set work rate for each job. The higher the value, the more money you'll earn, but more energy you'll consume. If your energy goes too low, your stress value will increase. Getting a stress value too high could have unpleasant consequences. What do you frenzy? Predefined jobs that can't be changed, but you can change the work rate for each of them below. Okay. So I'm guessing I can... I'll save over that. Yes. Okay. Back. Alright. Sorry, I don't know what that sounded like. Cool tea, yay! Alright, so I have, can I... What? Should I not be able to? Week 1? How do I... Help! Oh. You can't change your job. She's picked all the jobs. Really? I can't change this? Oh my god, why am I here doing this? Oh, because I was being polite. Erotic dancing. Crikey. Can I go that up? And then this one here, I just leave it as is. Okay. Seriously? Darn it, why can't I change this? Ugh, whatever. Week 1. You shift slightly in your bed, your limbs feel like dead wood and you could readily stay in bed, except for the headache playing havoc in your skull. Stirring, you groggily sit up on the edge of your bed, and your feet hit the floor with a heavy thump. Wow. Blurrily, you look at your surroundings and realize that you fell asleep in your clothes from the night before. Woof! You glance down and see your dog giving a concerned glance in your direction. He gives your leg a gentle lick. Knock, knock, knock. There is a knock on your door, and for a moment it feels like someone is driving nails into your skull. Ow. Dunk, dunk, dunk. Hey kiddo, are you awake? And good morning to you too. Do you want some toast with that? Sorry, Dad, I don't feel that well. I can imagine why. You know, I'm a little disappointed. Huh? I offered to pick you up. With a hangover this bad, you really shouldn't have driven home. No, my goodness. I didn't... Yeah. I'll be honest, I wasn't feeling my best yesterday. That might be it. You really should take it easy if you're sick. Well, come downstairs when you can and I'll have breakfast ready. Joshua closes the door and the sound sends another slight wave of pain through your head, but at least it isn't as bad as before, because that's how waking up works. Grrr. From the corner of your eye, Nick has his teeth bared and is snarling at you. Please be quiet, boy. Nick cocks his head and gives another slightly more hesitant growl before pouring at the closed door. With a slight sigh, you rise from the bed and get ready to start your day. Your dog hates you. Well done. Yeah, we established it was Monday. Now that you have some free time, you find yourself back at home, rummaging around the refrigerator. For some reason, you've been hungrier than normal, but nothing really seems to taste as good lately. You're eyeing the lunch meats and wonder how it would taste in a potato chip sandwich. You're weirder than Michelangelo, I swear. Oh my god, that's so weird. When you hear someone clear their throat behind you, turning, you see your stepfather standing behind you again. A small look of embarrassment on his face. Hey, Dad, do you need in here? Do you need anything in here? No, I'm good. Joshua pats his stomach for emphasis and then his features grow a little more serious. If you got some time, I could use a favor. Sure, what do you need? I'd like you to speak to Sabrina. I tried to talk to her earlier, but I didn't have much luck. Did she give you any idea why she is acting this way? No, but I trust her. When and if she wants to tell me, she will. I know Sabrina is an adult. Turning 18 will do that for you. Oh, that's cute. I love that. It's just priceless. However, something is going on with her, and I don't want her to ruin her life for it. I'll ask her one more time, but I don't feel comfortable interrogating her. Well, she should be home in about half an hour. I'll see her then. Whoa, the dooly. Okay. Okay. Oh man. That's like the entire size of my lounge room. Fine. You decide to wait in Sabrina's bedroom, because that's not creepy at all. This will give you a measure of privacy and hopefully persuade her to open up to you. No, it does not. The room feels quite spacious, because it's the size of my lounge room, since it doubles as a painting studio. How does that even work? It feels quite cheery, especially when the morning sun lights up the room, making the various paintings feel alive. Looking at each painting, it is like looking at various points of Sabrina's life. There is the finger painting from first grade, which earned her a blue ribbon in a competition. There's another which Sabrina made for a girl she was crushing on, but was rejected when she shared her desired. Aww. Then your eyes are drawn to some other pictures, some on the ceiling, some above her bed. These look to be quite more recent, because this is what happens when you run out of space. Oh, look above the bed. Look at the ceiling. Look above the bed. Your eyes are drawn to paintings of some reptilian figure. At first it pulls you in mind of an alligator, gemstones adorning its back and along the border. However, there is something odd about the gems. As you peer in closer, you see each contains an image of a person. Each person appears to be pounding at the gems, trapped within the shimmering surface. That's actually pretty freaky. You step back from the paintings and see that you have at least another 10 minutes before Sabrina gets back, because you can time these things. She doesn't just wander off into a cemetery unannounced. Though you had worked with her earlier today, you know her schedule can be quite erratic, even after work. So you find yourself standing at a dresser. The top is cluttered with various sundry items like her jewellery, makeup and whatnot. Then you spy a sketch pad. There is a piece of paper exposed. Looking closer and noting the quality of the picture, it comes from a time when Sabrina was much less skilled. It shows a picture that looks somewhat like you dressed in a medieval gown of some kind. Someone like you? Oh, you, there. Help me, Sabrina, help me! Yeah, okay. You're locked in a cage behind a dragon, and battling the dragon is a knight, but one that appears to be Sabrina-shaped. Haha, called it. You start to turn the picture around to get a better look when you hear a clink as your shoe presses up against something. Looking down, you see something, a point, sticking out of the bottom of the dresser. Curious, you pull it out and find that it's a rather wicked-looking dagger. Cool. There appears to be some dried red flakes on the side of the blade. Suddenly you hear Nick give a welcoming bark from down below. Oh yeah, see, now he likes Sabrina. You quickly put the dagger away and take a seat at the foot of Sabrina's bed. The door opens with a great energy as Sabrina dashes into the room. This is so inappropriate. Why did I not get this option? And she about falls when she sees you sitting there quietly. Hey, Catelyn? Hey, Sabrina. Several moments of quiet pass and you find yourself clearing your throat. I guess you're wondering why I'm being super groovy right now. Among other things, yes. She takes a seat beside you and you notice there's a hint of apple blossoms in the air. This is about Dad again, isn't it? Yeah. Don't get mad at him, he's just worried. Look, I don't want to get into a fight about it, but this isn't his business. Nor mine. Sabrina looks at you and there's a sad look on her face. I'm alone. I'd like to tell you, really I would, but I have to bear all of my burdens alone and can't share it with anybody in the world. And eventually I will crawl up into a ball of stress and die. We haven't really had a chance to talk in a long time, have we? No, I miss these talks. Don't get me wrong, you had college and I had school and now my job. Sabrina goes silent and you give her a hand, a gentle squeeze. For what it's worth, I've enjoyed working with you on the job. All of half a day. Me too. Okay. Talk consequential stuff. Ask about the dagger. Ask about the sketch pad. Oh. So I'm just playing this game. Not really. I mean, especially with a sister. If you catch my drift. I don't know these. I had a glance at the achievements. It's not quite a, not quite cheating, but I did notice the achievements. It's like going, why is this game so demented? It could have been so good. Let's just yeah, no. So ask about the dagger because I'm curious. Oh, Huntress alignment. That's weird. Please don't get mad at me. About what? While waiting, I found your knife below your dresser. Were you spying on me? No, I was the hell bored. I was admiring your artwork, and bumped up against it. I thought I had put it away. So, what are you going to do with this bit of information? Nothing. Nothing? I thought you were going to tell Dad. No, I want to know more about why you have the dagger. As far as I'm concerned, this is between us, and if you wish to tell me, you will, because that's how magic works. You rise from the bed and make your way to the door. Just as you twist the knob, you feel a moment of dread rise along your spine. You glance in Sabrina's direction, and a brief thought flashes through your mind. Enemy. Sabrina looks at you with concern. Do I have something on my face? No, I just realized how grown up you've become. Ugh. And as for Dad, I'll tell him to back off. Thanks. While restocking shelves, you were quite taken aback by how many albums were in the category Romantic Chanting. You look at your phone, then the building before you, then your phone once more. This is where I'm supposed to show up, right? You check the address Victor sent you one last time and shrug. At least you aren't late. In fact, you have 5 minutes to spare. However, the way Nick was taking his time on his morning walk, you thought for sure you'd be late. Broken windows and cracked walls surround you, and the smell of rotten eggs. Oh my god. Hope nobody's trying to eat their dinner. Assault your nostrils. You feel something's lightly tap the top of your head. Instinctual. That is not a word. Instinctively. I-V-E. Instinctively. You look up and see the ceiling is as devastated as the wall. The ceiling's coming down on you. Oh my god, get out. You look around the building, wondering whether Victor was playing a joke at your expense, but for the time you've known him, yeah, jeez, that would be entirely out of character. Yeah. Good call, game. Good call. Excuse me. So, you take another look around the place to pass the time. You see some graffiti on the black wall, while there seems to be a pile of something dark burned into the floor. In the corner. Okay, weird. Well, look in the corner. Jeez. You go to the corner and see that it appears to be cleaner than the rest of the building. However, what draws your attention is a set of shoe prints burnt into the floor. You give the blackened step a nudge with your foot and meet with resistance. So you bend down and run your hand over it and find it to be burnt rubber. Oh. Interesting. Someone's shoes got burnt into the ground. Potentially with the rest of them. A couple more minutes pass when you hear the door at the far end of the room creak open. Victor is standing there, looks at his watch and gives a smile. 8 a.m. right on the dot. I'm glad to see that you have made efficient use of your time. Actually, I got here about 2 or 3 minutes ago. Victor goes quiet and chews on his lip in a gesture you realize is indicative of him in deep thought. This disturbs me somewhat. He gives a slight nod of his after about a minute passes. 3 minutes is still within the parameters of acceptable arrival time. What is this? Oh, you twazzic. I never knew someone who'd get upset if someone came a little early. Neither have I, Catelyn. I think you and me are on the same planet here. Not so much upset as disappointed. What? Think of it this way. Every minute that passes is one you can never reclaim, correct? Oh god, that's so pedantic. I can't argue with that. Of course not. It is a logical conclusion. Therefore, if you go somewhere too early, all you are doing is wasting time, which could be used in a more productive fashion. You might have a point, but there are still ways to make it enjoyable, like de-stress. That's what early is about, not stressing about getting there, because, you know, you're at least on time. Perhaps, however, that topic should wait for another day, as you might commence your duties. Please follow me. You stride down a darkened hallway, and if anything, it's even worse than the previous room you were just in. What? Different art? Oh my god. However, you then come across a thick metal door, and near it is a smaller metal box, which is divided into two portions. The upper half appears to be some kind of scanner, while the bottom part holds the outline of a hand. And I realise it's quite late for me to try and be figuring out what the heck this is. I go across a thick metal door and this scanner. The bottom half holds the outline of a hand. Scan the hand. Unauthorized presence detected. Please step away from the entrance point or prepare for proper deterrence. I would normally be impressed by your security measures, but what does it mean by deterrence? For the moment, it is better that you don't know. Needless to say, it isn't pleasant. Victor steps in front of you and clears his throat. Computer override authorization Victor. Voice analysis accepted. Command acknowledged. Anti-entry measures powering down. Sorry about that. Once we get you settled in, I will see about adding your biometric data to the security system of this rundown hovel. You won't have any problems in the future. Victor pulls his head near the scanner and places his hand on the outline. Two red lights appear, scanning his eye and his hand. This is too weird. Victor, you're nuts. Retinal scan and handprint accepted. Welcome back, Victor. Isn't that a little, well, paranoid, given that, you know, the windows are all smashed and stuff? Possibly, but I don't think you can ever be too prepared, don't you think? Yeah, that was 3 minutes of your life, Buster. Prepared for what? Armageddon? Not in this location. What? Armageddon, not in this location. One question, why an abandoned building? Is it because you're hiding something? Step this way and you will see. Nice. Nice, he's a mad scientist. You follow Victor through the metallic doorway and you find yourself in a room filled with several technological marvels that says Frankenstein written all over them. So, what do you think? Amazing, and all of this is yours? No, Catelyn, it's not his. I got an inheritance from my grandfather, separate from my family's wealth. So they don't know about this place? Maybe my father. However, he doesn't. He has... if he does, he hasn't brought it up, and I would prefer it to keep it that way. Because, you know, grandfather. From Victor's tone of voice, you can tell that this is a bit of a sore subject to him. Okay, that's interesting. I'd like to know why. Do you mind if I look around? Be my guest, though I guess you are technically my employee now. Your eyes are drawn to the shelves at the back. You first start looking through his bottles of chemicals and you find yourself quite impressed. There is a good number that you couldn't have have unless you had the appropriate licenses, wealth, or both. Slightly more worrisome, though, as some, you could swear, are illegal. Then your eyes are drawn to a specimen jar, but it contains a creature you never saw before. It looks vaguely reptilian, but has two prominent fangs at the front. I feel like I'm home. Eee, so cute! Victor, what is that cute little thing? Oh, that is my... oh, because... oh, man. Okay. My chupacabra. Perfect. Oh. It is really, really cute. As far as tiny little bitey things that, you know, just swarm all over the countryside and you know, drink blood of creatures and, yeah, so this, as far as my limited research, and that's like one night, I just went onto the Wikipedia, this particular little creature lives somewhere around like South America to like the middle bit, like the Mexican, the big desert and all of that. I believe so that those little creatures are around down there. This is so cute. Okay. I'm happy now. This is a good game. Eee, so cute! Little monster of terror and blood-suckingness. Very funny. Seriously, what is it? Some kind of mutant lizard? I told you, it's my chupacabra. Wait, you're serious, aren't you? Completely. You feel a slight uneasiness fill you, and you hold onto the shelf for support. So that thing in the jar, it's yes, it's real! DNA sequencing shows it is being no known species. Then this lab is really a secret lab? Are you some kind of mad scientist? No. This is really necessary! Is it... I'd like to know. Somebody tell me, is this actually necessary for somebody to go back over to rehash the subject? It's quite bleedingly obvious. Oh... Are you actually some kind of mad scientist? Because, you know, the evidence suggests that you're 100% a mad scientist. Victor appears slightly hurt by the appellation. Mad? Do I give off that impression? Oh, no, sorry, it's just a turn of phrase. And the way that you yelled at me the other day about the rain. So, when you're not in school, I guess you can say I'm sort of a paranormal investigator. And you believe all of this is real? Do you believe all of this is real, Catelyn? You're standing in the room. Oh. Well, I was going to wait before saying this, but if you want to go with me on my next investigation, you're welcome to come. It might be just you, but you think you detect some... Oh, sorry. I thought he was still talking. It might be just you, but you think you detect some redness in Victor's cheeks, as if he is somewhat bashful to invite you. And you don't have any other motive on wanting me there? As like, you know, blood sacrifice ritual type thing? The redness increases a little and Victor slightly stammers. Yeah, I need the blood. I need a lot of blood. I agree to go for science. I agree to go to human company. For science! Oh. Of course I'll go. I mean, if you were being honest about the chupacabra, imagine what else there could be. A scientific discovery is one of the purest motives there can be. So, what are you going to have me do today? Can you mop this floor, please? Nothing too onerous, simply a reorganization and cleaning to start with. Haha, got them up the floor. There was a 2-second delay in your reflection in the mirror. When you brought it to his attention, Victor was pleased, since the delay had been up to 5 seconds before. Why am I naked? Up to 5 seconds before your arrival on the job. Oh, okay. Weird. So, you had a reflection that was delayed earlier, and it's less delayed now. You feel a slight chill as you try to navigate your way through the dungeon. I like that. That was just so ambiguous. I mean, I'd like it if it was a little bit... Never mind. Ambiguity. This game is very good at being ambiguous. It's great. You feel a slight chill as you try to navigate your way through the dungeon. Looking down, you feel grateful that you managed to escape with your life when that gelatinous monster engulfed you and consumed your armor. There is a large growl behind you when a large wolf-like creature pads your way. It licks its lips as it homes in on your scent. You look about for a weapon of any kind, your sword and shield long gone with your armor. Unfortunately, nothing is close at hand, except for a door. Is that the game creaking? That's creepy. It looks sturdy enough that if you put your weight behind it, you should be safe. As the door closes behind you, you find yourself in a space of pure blackness. You look for the door behind you, but to your chagrin, it has completely disappeared. What foul spell is this? You glance for any sort of orientation, but all is complete and utter darkness. You get a slight headache when you look toward the distance, but without any landmarks, it all bleeds into one amorphous, even nightmare. Ebony nightmare. Anamorphous, ebony nightmare. Oh god, words. You slowly start to walk, though it is disconcerting to have no direction to go to. A slight chill goes down your spine and you can't help but get the feeling that you are being watched. Mwahaha. For a moment you thought you heard something behind you, but as you swivel on your heel, you're just confronted with yet more blackness. Is anyone out there? Hello? For a moment you think that all of this must be some horrible dream. You give your head a vigorous shake, but this avails you little but a slight headache, a pain that is becoming a little too common for your tastes. You move once more, though without a marker or destination. It feels pointless. Just as you think you might take another short break, you hear a dull laugh coming from the right. Who's there? Show yourself. The laugh continues for another few seconds, but there is nothing to see. You edge forward when you feel a slight touch on your left shoulder, as if caressed by a feather. You turn around once more, but this time you think you can see a shape within the darkness. Its outline appears to be human, but that is all you see. Welcome. Who are you? Why, I'm your host, of course. Host? Yes, host. Do you think you could enter my sanctuary without an invitation? What are you saying? I received no invitation. Or precipitation, in fact, either that. Come now, you are starting to try my patience with your unceasing prattle. Please, walk this way. No! Really, Catelyn? You're going to go with no? I'm not going anywhere until you answer my questions. You come into my home, you make a mess of my things, and then you stand there making demands of me. How rude. A wave of panic seeps over you as the shadow starts to move towards you. Though you can't see its face, anger and menace radiate from it. You have little time before it is upon you. What do you do? Gee, I wonder, what do I do? Yanaki. Attack it. You're gonna get a sprained wrist at the very least. Run. You're going to trip over something in the dark. I apologize. What? Are you trying to make amends now? I'm afraid it's much too late for that. Well, so long as I don't trip over in the dark. Sounds awful. Before you can say another word, the shadow leaps towards you. Its form lengthens, but shrinks until it moves through the air like a black snake. You turn to move, but then it is upon you. You try to shake it off, but it swirls around your feet and crawls up your body. Eventually, you see its head right in front of yours and darts towards your mouth. You let out a shout and your eyes open wide. Taking a glance, you see that you are lying on your bed, the blankets drenched with sweat. Nick gives a soft whine and licks your hand as you settle back into bed. Oh wow, that was pretty cool. For your first week of work, you find Nadia is a very demanding boss, though an eclectic one. You shake your head, trying to wake up, when you feel a soft hand on your shoulder. Everything all right? If the research is boring you... No, it's not that. I just not slept well the last couple of days, and nothing to get worried about. If you're sure... I am. Between these articles and the equipment you had me order, are you getting ready to do another ghost hunting session? In a way, yes. I'm a little surprised that you figured it out. We're all obsessed with the ghosts in this town. It's haunted. You know how it is. When you asked me to find out what I could on the old Vandermoor place, it couldn't be much else. Going as far back as I could remember, kids would always dare each other to go inside. Did you? Me, Brandon, and Sabrina did. That's why we're all mental. Sabrina? If you didn't know better, you'd swear there was a slightly jealous edge to Nadia's tone. What? She's my stepsister. Are you close? We get along pretty good. Anyways, we made a bet with some friends that we could stay in the attic for at least half an hour. The place where old man Vandermoor hung himself. So, what happened? Well, when Mum and Dad said the place is dangerous, they were right. Not in any spooky sense, but I thought the stairs were going to collapse under my weight. That is one of the hazards of ghost hunting. One that many people don't realize. You get old, abandoned buildings. I think the worst bit of it was mold. I swear I was sneezing half the time. Needless to say, we won the bet. So what did you win from your bet? We got the other person's dessert at lunch for a week. Dessert at lunch, okay. A few minutes of silence fills the air, and you spare a glance down at the newspaper. This is another article with an unexplained death at the estate. If you don't mind assuaging my curiosity, but do you believe in ghosts? Nadia sits down, her chin resting on her hands as she sits across from you. Maybe. I can give you a solid maybe. Ha! A fence straddle, Anne. There is no solid proof, but a lot of anecdotal ones, and those shown on television, well, they've been shown to make a lot of stuff up. Yeah, that's my opinion, all up in the wrap. If they showed the actual hours when nothing happened, well, people might prefer to watch grass grow. One thing I never understood is that most ghost stories, well, they only go back 100 years or so. No. For the sake of argument, let's assume that ghosts are real. They would exist as an entity separate from the body. I'm with you so far. In a way, they are made up of energy. The living gets their energy from eating. If you're dead, that isn't exactly an option. True. Even in the case of possession, it would be your host who would be getting fed. Exactly. So this implies ghosts must get their energy from somewhere else. What is the biggest factor in ghost stories? The people scared. I see where this is going. It's awesome. Bingo! Strong emotions, a different energy, as it were. The easiest for them to incite would be fear. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. Not to mention it would be boring to be a ghost. Oh? Think about it. Most ghost stories tell of them being confined to a certain spot or area. I can't think of a worse sort of prison. So, spooking people would bring some excitement to their unlife. So if strong emotion is food for a ghost, would love count as well? If you put hauntings aside, you do have stories where ghosts will show up for a loved one. Nadia seems a bit wistful as she says the last, and she gets a distant look on her face. Something wrong? No, just thinking that if I could, even death wouldn't come between me and the one I love. That is romantic, though bordering a little on the stalkerish. I guess it does. So, hey? You just assume it's a woman? Oh man, this world. You just assume that. So, who is the lucky person? There isn't one. Sadly, between my professional life and my hobbies, it makes me hard to be with someone. What about you? Focused as I was on graduating, I didn't exactly find that special someone. And now I've graduated, it's the end of my life. If nothing else, we would likely have split up after college. Oh, hold on a second. Oh. Hold on a second. darn. That's what I get for talking. Sorry about that. Focused as I was on graduating, I didn't exactly find that special someone. If nothing else, we would have likely split up after college. True enough, but it can still hurt. No different than high school. If anything, I found that worse. After all, you're still a teenager, and up to that point, you really weren't exposed to the rest of the world. And telling someone it will get better doesn't exactly help. Even if it is true. Look at us talking about life and death. Funny, because we were talking about ghosts. As if we just came out of a trashy romance novel. One with vampires. There's always got to be vampires. Hopefully that kind don't expire. Okay. I'd just like to personally reach out and give a verbal hug to the person who wrote this. I love you too, man. Hopefully the kind that don't sparkle, because oh my god, that's just not a good look. They don't. Not unless they've been hitting the glitter a little too heavily. It would make stalking a victim a little tough. Please, glitter would be an glitter would be an essential accessory if I went on the prowl. Wow, so would I be on the menu? What? Where did you get that from? Catlin, stop. Would you like to be? Rather not be dinner. Well, I would love to go out for dinner. I wouldn't want to be dinner. Did I say something wrong? No, just an interesting thought. Yeah, I saw what you did there. Oh, what was it? Because, you know, let's just say it involved you in the context of eating. I'd better get back to work. Still, this wasn't an interesting break. You just banged half the town. That's great, Catelyn. You're doing well. That was it. It's probably Nadia's voice. She has to be a teacher. While checking out some reference books, Nadia advised you to ignore any screams you might hear. Don't do that. When pressed, she said that there was something wrong with the ventilation system, and at times it could sound like people crying out in anguish. What are you doing? Nadia. You take a moment and wipe the sweat from your brow. You glance around at the flower bed, smiling with pride that you are almost done. Your assignment for today was to weed and remove the dead plants while school was out for the summer. One thing that aches is the small of your back. Cue the feeling of backache. You can't recall any time recently where you did more bending and pulling. Lift with your knees, my ass. The hem. You whirl around at the interruption and see Tyrone standing behind you, a slight look of embarrassment on his face. Is something the matter? I just came to say hello, but you seemed a bit pissed. I can leave if you want me to. Sorry, I just ache in places I didn't know I had. I can sympathize. I know that when I started to take basketball seriously, some of the exercises left me wiped out until my body got used to it. He glances at the number of flower beds you've finished. I'm impressed. You've got almost all of them done. Do you do any gardening yourself? Oh. You nod your head slightly, taking a last good look at the job well done. You rise and feel much better once you are standing straight up. I like to garden. Mostly flowers more than anything, but it became a lot tougher to take care of things when I was in school. Why? Oh, mental, whatever. You wouldn't have anything left if you watered just once a week. Yes, you would. Well, I suppose it depends on where you live in the world. You glance at your hand and wrinkle your nose as you notice how much dirt accumulated underneath your fingernails. C'est la vie. Then you wouldn't like it when you crawl out of your grave. Pardon me, did you say something? Tyrone looks on with a bit of concern and then shrugs. Oh, I was just saying that if your back continues to bother you, I do have a couple things that might help. Liniment, a massage, steak and garlic. Massage? So you didn't say anything about what? A massage? So you didn't say anything about a grave? Wait, a massage? You notice Tyrone blush once more when a stray thought occurs to you that if he keeps going at this rate, he might fall over from a lack of blood. Still better than someone suffering a nosebleed like in those anime films. Tyrone lifts a hand to the back of his head and shrugs. I guess I'm just sticking my foot in my mouth today, again. If I didn't know better, I think you'd like me somehow. Yeah, sort of do, you bimbo. Really? Probably from the first time we met. Yeah, as friends. This is back when I was taking basic chemistry, to satisfy the university science requirement. I was having a tough time, but one tutor helped me a lot. You. Oh. Reverse Florence Nightingale effect type thing, okay? Maybe I did. To be honest, there were so many students, they all start to blur together. You don't say that if you were trying to... I figured that'd be the case. Still, you helped me pass with a C. It kept me on the team and made my parents happy. I'm forever in your debt. Well, I'm glad to hear that, but you really shouldn't be in my debt. It's nice to know that I was able to help. You wouldn't believe me how many students basically wanted me to do their homework for them. I'm surprised someone didn't ask you to take a test or two for them. Not for lack of trying. I think the largest bribe was around $500. Wow. Really? I'm not making this up. Did you ever consider it? No, of course not. It would also be my luck that they would try to pass off some counterfeited currency at that. That's insane. My God. $500 in toothpaste. The student, he wouldn't have been someone named Peter Lynn. Oh, that's familiar. Actually, that's the one. You know him? You could say that. He was in danger of losing his starting position on the team, so he gave a little something to the person set to take his place. Oh dear. At least he isn't here to cause more trouble. Peter Lynn. That's good to hear, and as enjoyable as this conversation has been, I really need to get back to work. Oh, sorry if I took up too much of your time. Too much. D-double-O. Too much, as in two twos. Two O's. Not a problem. Say. Yes. Would you? Catelyn! Sort of, not really. Could. Just that, well, I normally don't have a problem talking to girls, but with you, you know, you find me intimidating with my claws that I dug from underneath the ground. Yeah, there is an air about you that, well, I don't know how to put it, but it gives me pause. Pause. Vocabulary. Well, I promise you I don't bite, not much. You give a slight laugh, letting Tyrone know that you are simply joking around. So if we were going to go out, what did you have in mind? Well, that would be up to you. I mean, we could go out for a meal, just hang around, whatever. God, that sounds intimidating. That sounds... okay. Well, we've been doing that, so let's try to do this. Well, we could go do something exciting. Like what? Don't worry, I wasn't proposing going skydiving for a first date. Oh, thank goodness, because you can't have a conversation on us. And in the air... I thought it would be memorable. True, rather we could go to the amusement park. Listen, I really need to get back to work. Could talk with you later? Certainly. Your work was delayed by several hours as several men and women in black suits cordoned off part of the university and forbid anyone from entering. What? Oh, giddy aunt. Here we go. Yes, your eyes struggling to remain open. You glance around at the most empty bar and can swear you feel each minute tick by. This is the most boring place on earth, apparently. And loud. Soft footsteps behind you wake you up and Ashley lays a reassuring hand on your arm. Everything all right? You seem a little out of sorts. Oh, I'm fine. Mostly trying to fight off boredom. This is boring. Enjoy it while you can. When things get busy, you'll be pining. I'm sure it's supposed to be pining for the days when it was slow. So even the dancers don't get a break? Unless they need to be on stage, many of them will help out with the wait staff. And we'll all just wait around because that's what wait is. The tips must be great though. If you're talking money, yes. If you're talking about something a little further south, well, customers need to be escorted out. I figured that would be an occupational hazard of the job. Amongst other things. Oh, seriously, they couldn't have given her something nice in the underwear department? You know, maybe blue? Red? It's not a nice colour. Not for the outside. Oh, would you care to elaborate further? Perhaps, assuming you could continue to work here. I can't complain so far. If someone gets a bit grabby, though. See, not me or the bouncer. You mean the one that disappeared off to Las Vegas? We are not weak. Before you realize what is happening, your left hand curls into a fist and you bring it down on the bar counter. Ashley jumps back about half a foot at the thump and cracks splinter from the point of impact. Dude, where did you suddenly get so cross? Or you can handle yourself. Sorry, I don't know what came over me. I could send you home if you need a night off. Stress can hit the best of us. No, that wouldn't be necessary, I promise. At that moment, a group of middle-aged men come in, making their way to the back table. A couple of them glance at the dancer on stage, but they seem to be otherwise preoccupied. Looks like your boredom is at an end. I can trust that you won't maim our customers. I'll be good, I swear. Shame. I like a bad girl at times. Ugh, lewd. Ashley then turns away and you make your way out, way over the table. The men grow silent at your arrival. Good evening, I'm Catelyn, and may I take your... What are you doing here? What are you doing here, Dad? Dad? The rest of the group goes silent, absorbed by the unfolding drama. You, Dad? Well, are you going to answer my question? I'm getting paid to be here. And it's not your business. You're working here. You call this work? Oh. Are you trying to shame me? Seriously? I mean, you came in here, so what does that say about you? Go, Catelyn. Grasp his neck, watch his eyes pop. What? You feel a menacing presence come up behind you, quelling the inner turmoil that was building. Is everything all right here? Yes, ma'am. I'm just trying to take everybody's order. Joshua's face turns slightly crimson and he glances at Ashley. Say, I know you. You used to babysit. Are you going to order, sir? Catelyn, we are going to leave. No, we're not. I'm going to have to ask you to leave, sir. Stay out of this. Lift Joshua up, slam the table, let Ashley handle things. Effort. It's her place. Feeling a surge of rage course through your body, part of you wants to lash out. However, you quickly quell this feeling. Ashley, do you mind handling this? No problem. Ashley clears her throat, and in that moment you swear her body starts to swell slightly. You notice her hands and her fingernails are almost like daggers. Going to have to ask everyone to please leave the premises. All of you? Joshua glares at Ashley, then you, but begins to gather his things. Eventually things calm down as the group leaves almost as quickly as they arrived. You take a deep breath and run a finger through your hair. That was fun. That was awkward as hell, you mean? It could have been much worse. Oh, you could have been dancing for one thing. I guess this is an occupational hazard. You could say that. Of course, I was also afraid you were going to tear Rush Joshua's head off. But I didn't. No, and I'm proud of you for that. Are you going to be all right? If you need a place to crash tonight... I'm going to be fine. Did something like this ever happen to you? Yes, I really don't speak to my family much as a result. I would understand if you decide to quit. Am I being fired? No, but if you change your mind about being here... I think on the principle, hell no. A botany... Botany? No, this is my choice, and if he doesn't like it, that's his problem. That a girl. Give him hell. This is my concern to worry about, not yours. Fine, but know that I'm always ready to help. Go ahead and take a few minutes for yourself. That won't be necessary. that was a weird turnaround. On Saturday and Sunday, you can either relax at home, get a small improvement on energy and stress at no cost, visit a spa, bigger effects but expensive. I don't know why I read bar. Starting from week 3, you can also go out on a date or buy a gift for one of the love interests. Can we just make friends? So conflicted. Both activities have a variable cost in terms of money and energy. Confirmed choice. We have $219. Oh, we have basically diddly squat energy. Give me energy. Give me all of the energy. I don't think I need. Yeah. And stay there the whole Saturday. It's going to be a bit expensive, but the results are guaranteed. Nearly 100% there. It costs $10 to relax in bed. Spend the Sunday at home watching TV, eating some delicious food, playing with Nick, buying the latest indie game. In one word, relax. Okay, well, let's do that. Alright. We now have... Can we... That was particularly rude, wasn't it? So that doesn't seem to affect... Go here. Oh, that's... That was weird. Alright. I just scrolled backwards. That one. Confirm. That one. Confirm. And then... Don't press the scroll button, you drongo. I do like Ashley. It's weird. She's growing on me. Maybe she is a plant. Alright, week 2. Sure, it's 10 o'clock. Let's not stop. Again, with the undies, you awake once more, but you find yourself feeling drained. Your brain feels like it's wrapped in cotton, and it takes an act of willpower to leave the comfort of your bed. You can't explain just why you're feeling tired all of a sudden. It would be one thing if you were partying every night, but other than going to the bar the previous week, your nights have been quite dead. You glance at your bed and see that it looks like a tornado hit it once more. Blankets are strewn halfway across the room, while some of the pillows are practically in the windowsill. Alright. How close is your bed away from the window? It gets more dramatic, the distance. Oh, knock, knock, knock. Take a deep sigh. You slowly start to pick up your room when there is a knock on your door. Who is it? The door opens and your stepfather steps inside. He is holding a phone and starts to talk. Your mother is on the other end. Good Lord, what happened in here? I had a bad dream, I think. What were you dreaming of? World War III? I think so. In the light of day, I can't remember. If you do remember, I'm always willing to lend a sympathetic ear. It was a dream. Thanks, Dad. So what does Mum want? Because that's obviously the other person who's sitting on the other end of the phone. Here, you can talk to her yourself. Your stepfather hands you the phone, gives a final glance at your room, and then exits to give you privacy. 'Cause you know, knickers. Hey, Mum. Hi, honey. I hope I didn't call you at a bad time. No, I was just thinking of making my bed. Then everything is all right there? There is a worried edge to your mother's voice, one that you only notice during times of concern, 'cause that's how worried edges work. Perfectly fine. Why? It's just a feeling I have. I guess your brother has me a little on edge. What happened? He didn't ask someone to marry him yet? Do you hear me squealing in joy? No, there was a bad day or two last week. They started yelling in the sleep about darkness, and for some reason you were in it. Are you still there? Sorry, Mum, I was just getting ready for the day. All right, I will talk to you later, sweetie. They? That's weird. Today is a quiet day in the shop, much like most of the other days you've worked here, 'cause that's not how weeks work when you're working at different jobs. Not that there aren't any customers, but the day would go by a bit faster if more people actually shopped at your location, but you know, in this city, they're all dead. On the other hand, Sabrina said the owner didn't mind if you surfed the internet or brought in a book when it is slow. Of course, it isn't like Sabrina is around as much as you might have expected, since with your hire, she is often out making special deliveries for several hours at a time. However, today isn't like that, since Sabrina's been with you all morning. As summer's normally this dead. Yep, things pick up when the university is back in session. Not that I want to sound like I'm complaining, but why hire me? Well, the owner likes to have someone she trusts to run the store, which obviously applies to you. But she also gets a lot of special requests in the summer, and having you here is a big help. If you say so, I just don't feel like I'm doing my fair share. Sabrina lays her hand on yours and gives you a gentle smile. Her hand feels strangely warm on yours, and you could swear her pulse raced in that moment. Don't ever think that. A look of concern crosses Sabrina's face and she pulls back. What is it? Your skin feels a little cold to me. Is the air conditioner running too much? Too much. No, it feels fine to me. Alright, just remember this is an old building and sometimes the equipment goes on the frets. So, do you think one of these days I could go with you when you make a delivery run? No! I mean, no. You are slightly surprised by the rather strong tone that Sabrina just took. You glance at her speculatively. There is something you aren't telling me. No, of course not, Catelyn, of course not. All of her behaviour is explained. Sabrina, I can always tell when you lie. But I'm not lying. I'm saying nothing. It's a different thing. But you're evading. See? Look, you just have to trust. You've been saying that a lot lately. Look, I do trust you, but you have to admit things look very suspicious. Heck, I haven't even seen our boss. If it wasn't for the pay stub, I would be worried we weren't involved in something illegal. Like what? Like drug running. It isn't anything like that. Look, can we talk about something else? Anything else? About that dagger? Yeah? Are you some kind of weapons collector? Something like that. You don't have to be scared telling me. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I collect unicorns and you never made fun out of it. You collect unicorns. Thank you. Maybe if we go to the Pirate Festival later this year, we might find something you like. Before you can continue the conversation, the shop phone rings and Sabrina picks it up instantly. Thank God! Cordelia's Sabrina's voice dies down and her face grows more serious. While she doesn't say much more, you hear her mention the location on Willow Street and that it has to be done within 2 hours. Sabrina sighs once she hangs up. Sorry about that, but I have to go. It's alright, I'll keep an eye on the store. You cast a look at the empty shop. Well, it has to stay open, doesn't it? Somehow I think I will survive. Thanks. Oh, excuse me. Sabrina makes her way to the back room. From the sounds of it, she is going through several boxes and then you hear her exit out the back door, heavily armed to the teeth and ready to fight mutant alligators. Hello? It's a different model. Nice. The store remains quiet for about half an hour, and you wonder if there would be a problem changing the music over the loudspeaker when someone enters. He looks around the shop, a shifty look on his face when he focuses on you. Hello, sir. How may I? Is Sabrina here? Apparently his name's Sean. I'm afraid she isn't. She is out making special delivery. However, if I can help. Do you know when she will be back? It might be 10 minutes or it might be 2 hours. It honestly depends on... I don't really have that kind of time. Listen, when you see her again, tell her I found the item and will return it. No one has to die. Why don't you just tell her? Whoa. And it seems like a flash of red hits your vision, and there is something... It certainly was. There is something slightly different about the man. You're uncertain what it is. Then you notice his ears. Sir, your ears. However, the man isn't paying attention and he quickly exits the store. Another half hour passes when you hear the back door open and Sabrina makes her way to the front. So, anything happened while I was gone? Yeah, a man came in here looking for you. Sabrina tenses up at this declaration. Did he give a name? No. But he looked like he was wearing a kilt of some kind. Lies! That would be Sean. He had a message. He said he found the item and he will return it. He said that no one has to die. Sabrina's face remains impassive as you deliver the news, and then she gives a slight nod. Sabrina, what just in the hell is going on? Who is going to die? Sean is just probably over-exaggerating. He seemed to be scared half to death. Did he? Okay. I'll grant you. Look, you can tell me the truth. Sabrina looks at you and there is a quiver on her cheek. For a moment you think she is going to say something and then shakes her head, a wet sheen in the corner of her eye. No, I must carry on alone, shouldering this burden. I'm sorry I can't do that. Sean knows better than to make things public. Convince her to leave whatever is going on. Ask if you could help her with whatever. Press her about what is going on. Yeah, so she's your sister, and I don't think that she's actually doing anything wrong. Just, can I help? Whatever the heck it is. Look, whatever is going on, I can help you with it. No, you can't. How would you know? If you at least told me, I might. I want to, I really do, but I can't. Fine. Catelyn, I promise. It's alright, you'll tell me when you tell me. However, I don't think I won't have questions and concerns. I understand. Like, why did Sean have pointed ears and then didn't? You saw. No, I can't talk about it. You found yourself a bit unsure when a customer asked what psychedelic mushrooms would you recommend when listening to Mozart. Okay. Today you find yourself at a microscope and it takes you back to some of the labs you took before you graduated. What am I examining again? The presence of various spores, molds, and fungus. Ah, I don't really like this. Alright, where did these samples come from again? And do you know the old Hawthorne place on Sycamore? Hawthorne? Wait, are you talking about Mad Widow Hawthorne? There's so many places in this town. They're just like... personally, I think she was just misunderstood. Misunderstood? Taking an axe to your husband to stop him from snoring is a few steps beyond a misunderstanding. It was a little extreme, I grant you. However, I have a theory why she did it. Are you going to say she was haunted? That is one, if unlikely, an explanation. Wait, you seem to be familiar with the place, so why is that? 'Cause I lived here my whole life, dude. Well, I spent the night there back when I was a teenager, and before you ask, yes, I know the place was abandoned, like the other half of the street. Actually, I was more curious why you would spend the night there. I was 16 with a bunch of friends, and we dared each other to stay there. It was one of the creepiest nights of my life, among the other places that we stayed in that was haunted, yes. But did you see anything out of the unusual? No, not that can't be explained away, such as the moon or something like that. However, it was just eerie, for lack of a better term. Well, I have a theory as to why that is. You are going to be examining several samples of some kind of spore, mold, or fungus. She had brain rot, okay. I think I can get what you're saying. If we detect the presence of these, indeed, as you know, some fungi are hallucinogenic. Magic mushrooms. Cool. Exactly. If we detect the presence of fungal infiltration, it could help explain why some people think the place is haunted. Their minds might be under the influence of something. And could explain why Miss Hawthorne gave her husband 40 whacks. Precisely. Speaking of investigations, do you think I will be going alone on one... Why are you saying this, Catelyn? Or do you think I'm incapable of help? That's... No! What? No, certainly not. You're just a dipstick. I did graduate with a degree in chemical engineering. Heck, if you are worried about foreign substance-inducing manifestations of the supernatural, I would be a big help. You make a very valid point. Then why haven't I been allowed to go? It is a lack of experience. It isn't that. You're an idiot. So often it can be boring with little to show for it. Please, I am used to there being negative results. Patience is one thing any engineer has to cultivate, along with fungal spores and other mold. Then I will put together a list of potential places to investigate, and you will have your pick. Excuse me. I look forward to it. Well, I better get back to examining your mold. Victor gives a wave of his hand and walks off to one of his other duties. You soon lose track of time as you examine Victor's samples of any kind of fungal contamination. It is during this time you become aware of a faint ringing in your ears. You look down to your phone but see that it is quiet. Then you notice the sound is coming from the cabinet. A quick examination reveals an old landline phone in Victor's cabinet. You debate a second or two whether answering the phone is among your duties, but decide if it's important, Victor would prefer to know. Hello? Oh, excuse me, I must have the wrong number. That's quite all right. Have a good day. You too, dear. There is an audible click as the person on the other end hangs up. You shrug and put the receiver back down when the phone starts ringing again. Hello? Oh my, don't tell me I misdialed again. Perhaps I can help you. Were you looking for someone in particular? I doubt Victor will be there after all. Oh, Victor stepped out for a moment. I don't know when he'll be back, but can I take a message? However, the person on the other end doesn't seem to have heard your response. Instead, you hear something quite different. Harold, come here. There's someone you have to talk to. It's a young lady and she's with Victor. There is some minor static as the phone on the other end changes hands, and you hear a deeper voice speak. This is Harold Hammond. To whom do I have the pleasure of speaking with? Well, I'm Catling. So my wife is correct. Victor does seem to have some company over. Interesting. Pardon? Sorry, just expressing my surprise. It seems it isn't like Victor to have company of any kind, but this is a pleasing development nonetheless. Tell me, young lady, do you come from a suitable background? Yes, suitable background. I don't know how that is any of your business. Where my son is concerned, well, it doesn't matter for the moment. I don't have long to stay on the line, but I want to give you an offer. I'm sure you're aware of Victor's obsession with this paranormal nonsense. An offer? Yes, The voice continues, and you get the impression that he is used to getting his own way. If you can return Victor from this ludicrous obsession, I will make it worth your while. Now, piss off. What do you think I could do about it? You are the first woman I've met who admitted to knowing my son. Let alone being around him for any length of time. That means you must have some influence over him. Use it, and keep him from wasting his life with this stuff. It's not up to me. It's been a pleasure talking with you, but I'm afraid business calls. I gotta use the potty. The other end hangs up with an audible click. You put the receiver down, but this time there is no return call. You wait a few minutes just in case when Victor re-enters the room. I thought I heard a phone ring. You did. I'm a bit surprised you still have a landline. Victor shrugs, and you swear you hear the crackle of static electricity in the gesture. Okay. Cell phones don't last very long around me, so who called? First your mother, maybe. You're not sure whether it was my mother or not? No, she put someone named Harold soon after. My father, what did he want? Your father, he thought I could change your mind about your interests. I see. Well, I can't say that I'm surprised. I never saw eye to eye with my father. He wants someone he can mould into the perfect businessman. It's sort of a family legacy. But didn't you say you got an inheritance from your grandfather? On my mother's side, she doesn't really understand this either, but neither has it been an issue with her. Victor sighs and he starts to turn away when he stops and glances in your direction. Sir, do you think I spend too much time in here? God help me, no. I guess it depends on the person. I mean, if you're happy, then that's the important thing. And you? Would you be happy in such a situation? I think so. Ultimately, you have to be happy with who you are. Even if that would make you a hermit. That's not for me to say. Anyways, I didn't mean to cause this digression. If you are still interested in some field work, here are a few locations you can take a look at. Let me finish analyzing your spores first. There was a 2-second delay in your reflection in the mirror. When you brought it to his attention, Victor was pleased since the delay has been up to 5 seconds before your arrival on the job. Weird. Today's work was a bit macabre, so Nadia asked you to research various funereal customs from the world. Because today's work was a bit macabre as Nadia asked you to research various funereal customs from the world. It's not macabre. Some were relatively straightforward, like cremation or burial, but others were a bit more fascinating, such as mummification or post-living mechanical. Okay. Doesn't sound right. Go ahead. However, now that you are done for the day, post-living cannibalism. Let's get your head around that. Now that you are done for the day, you're running a few errands after work. You come up to a crosswalk and patiently wait for the sign to change from stop to go. Wow. That would suggest there was more houses in the town other than the haunted ones. Catelyn! Did someone say something? You look around, but other than a few people walking up and down the street, you really don't see anyone. Don't go. Okay, this isn't funny, whoever you are. Once more, you don't notice anyone around you. Momentarily, the light changes colour, indicating you can cross the street. You put one foot down and suddenly feel a hand clamp on your shoulder and nails stick into your flesh. Ouch. About that time, a car rounds the corner at high speed, weaving back and forth. Wait! Driver honks angrily at you, but you manage to jump back on the curb. For a moment, you are unsure how you feel when an intense emotion rises up. One of relief. Relief floods through you, and instinctively you give Nadia a tight hug. What? She seems pleasantly surprised by your reaction, but quickly wraps her arms around you. That close, you can feel Nadia's heart beat through her chest. Then, realizing how close she is, she pulls back. Sorry about that, I'm just so glad. Don't apologize. Besides, you don't see me complaining. Nadia brushes a bit of dirt off your shoulder and then takes a look of concern across her face as she gives your hand a squeeze. You've been wearing the same dress all week. Are you sure you're all right? Your hand is awfully cold. You gingerly put your hand back and give a slight smile. I had a big shock, but I'm fine, honest. If you say so, still, if you need to take some time off. She was trying to cross the street. A car came out. I swear I'm fine. So I guess it was lucky for me that you were in the area. Yeah, it was luck. Or are you my guardian angel? I mean, you've now shown up a couple of different times when I needed you, or was thinking of you. A happy coincidence, I promise you. It could be a little creepy. It could be a little creepy. I mean, coincidence only goes so far. What makes you say that? The fact that I'm slightly creeped. Maybe you put a bug on me. You give me more credit than you should. No, it was just luck. That kind of bug, not the crawling insect bug. No, I was actually in the area, thinking of running a ghost tour or two when my next book comes out. A ghost tour? For some reason, I'm now thinking of the undead going sightseeing. A tour for ghosts. That would be more appropriate definition now that you mention it. No, these are simple tours of areas with supposed paranormal activity, the usual. So are there a lot of cemetery visits? Pretty much staple. Of course, haunted houses are also a mainstay, especially if they are a bed and breakfast. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. That is a selling point. It didn't used to be, but thanks to all the recent shows, it's rekindled interest in a lot of people. Somehow, while I can believe those people wish to see something, I doubt they see much. Very true, but in a way it is a safe thrill for them. It gives them a chance to walk on the dark side, but in a controlled environment. I'm calling BS. You make it sound like a roller coaster with all of the safety rails on. Maybe an emotional one. There is something else to consider. What is that? Our world is inundated with facts and hard science, but I think people in general like to have a little mystery. A balance is definitely best. A balanced approach is the best. Going extreme on either end, well, you can get lost. Some would say that being in the middle is boring. When it comes in ghosts, it's nice and stable. It can be, but so can the far ends of things as well, because, you no longer expose yourself to the other side, and, it's nice to have sweet and savoury, and, well, Nadia looks at her watch and sighs. I'm afraid I have to get going. There are a couple more places I want to look at. Just beware speeding cars in the future. When going to visit Nadia for some consultation, you thought you heard chanting coming from her office. Upon entering, you discovered no one was inside and jumped when you felt her tap your shoulder. Okay. Nadia be haunted, yo. In a naked again. You awaken in the dark as you feel the urge to switch positions as much as you might prefer otherwise. The need to toss and turn is almost becoming second nature to you by this point. So you lie down in bed and just stare at the ceiling, wondering if tonight is going to be another sleepless night. Yep. Okay, so now you're waking to the tossing and turning and not just tossing and turning. Maybe some warm tea will help me sleep. Decaf, please, for that idea. You try to sit up in bed, and after straining for what feels like an hour, you find yourself still lying on the mattress. Not now. You try to raise your head and find it's just as still as the rest of your body. Gritting your teeth and closing your eyes, you will lift your Leg to move, but oh no, paralysis nightmare. I hate this. It's awful. I'm so sorry for you, Catelyn. Oh, sleep paralysis. Almost as soon as the thought enters your mind, you feel a twitch in your left hand. Glancing towards it, you see that your appendage is aloft on its fingers. It slowly starts to move left and then right, your digits acting like legs. This paralysis dream. Stop that. A loose warm feeling then crawls up your left arm, and you find your hand now lying perfectly flat. Why is this happening to me? I don't know. It's awful. As expected, silence fills the room. Then you feel a slight pain in your right leg. You peer downward and see your knee is now up in the air, your leg partially bent. Much like before, you can feel the contraction and relaxation of your muscles. It doesn't respond to your thoughts. Just as you're about to give up all control, your leg relaxes once more and is soon lying flat on the bed. You continue to stare at your limbs, but for now they're quiet. What isn't quiet is your stomach. For now you feel a discomfort in your belly. Your stomach gives another growl, interrupting your thoughts, and soon a pang of hunger suffuses your body. It feels like a growing hollowness in the center of your body. Body. One which gnaws at the edge of your awareness. Oh, come on, write properly. One which... What isn't quiet is your stomach, for now you feel a discomfort in your belly. Your stomach gives another growl, interrupting your thoughts, and soon a pang of hunger suffuses you. It feels like a growing hollowness in the center of your body, one which gnaws at the edges of your awareness. This makes no sense. I had plenty to eat at dinner. No, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Sorry. Talking to yourself again. Your head turns of its own accord and you are now staring out into the hallway. What? A shadow slowly creeps along the back wall and is heading to your room. Oh, shit, I gotta get up. However, your body refuses to move at your dictates. This doesn't mean it is motionless, though. You find your fingers starting to curl up as if they were claws. You slowly shift your position on the bed and find yourself staring at the doorway. A faint odour trickles your consciousness, a scent that you never noticed before. However, some part of you does seem to recognize it, for you find saliva starting to build up in your mouth. The feeling of emptiness increases and you find yourself grinding your teeth. Finally, the shadowy figure emerges, and it is someone you've seen several times before. I hope you don't mind me visiting. I really wanted to see you tonight. Sabrina casts a shy glance towards Joshua's room and whispers, We'll have to be quiet. Almost on tiptoe, she eases towards you, a blush deepening across her face, and at the same time a dull ache suffuses your body. Stop using this word. One for desire for the other person. However, this isn't a feeling born of love or even lust, but literally, she looks like food. You feel a spot of wetness near your left hand. Looking down, you see your saliva spilling onto your bed. Huh? Where's your hand? Then with a guttural growl, you find yourself leaping from the bed, eyes fixated on the now horrified look on the other's face. You close your eyes, awaiting the inevitable contact. Your eyes snap open as you hit the floor with a thud. Taking a moment to judge your surroundings, you see that it's morning and your bed is torn apart yet again. Telling you, third person editing. Very helpful. Feeling a great sense of dread, you peer over the other side of the bed. To your great relief, the rest of the room appears completely normal. It's just your bed, it's just like ripped as thunder. And you need new sheets and a new mattress, and you really need to get rid of them because, all of the saliva stains is just awful. And with a sigh you stand when you feel another gurgle of hunger in your stomach. However, you would swear it's from the fact you can smell fresh breakfast from downstairs. Nothing else. Sabrina, alright? May I talk to Sabrina, please? No, It is with a deep and heavy heart that you breathe in the fresh air. You spent the better part of an hour trying to clean the girls' locker room, and the scent of disinfectant clings to you. For the moment, you feel swell in your stomach, which you find surprising. Because you didn't eat a swell. You spent time in various chemistry labs and grew used to the smell of sulfur and other chemicals with no ill effect. It's just this cleaning. So you find yourself walking around the outdoors basketball court. Off at the back, you see Tyrone, a ball under one arm. He is talking to a small group of men and women. Well, there's no need to be sizist. Hearing your footsteps, he turns around and sees you, a small smile growing on his face. There is a small groan of despair as he leaves the group and makes his way to you. Who's groaning? Catelyn, what's up? Then he stops about 5 feet away from you. His mouth frowns and his arm clutches his stomach. Gives a couple of heaves, then vomits. Wow. Are you alright, dude? Tyrone, are you alright? Do I need to call you take you to the clinic? Tyrone waves you off and wipes his mouth clean on the ground. No, I'm fine. My nose can be a little sensitive, and let's just say that I wasn't expecting your perfume. Perfume? Oh, I was cleaning a locker room earlier. The cleaning chemicals were really, gross. Why do you think I'm getting a bit of fresh air? Ugh. I hope you don't take offense if I stand downwind of you, at least until the odor dissipates a bit more. Not a problem. So, who are your friends? You point to where Tyrone had been and notice a person or two lingering behind. Basketball fans, if you must know. Are they much of a problem? Most of the time, no, but it can get aggravating after a while. Then why do you do it? My mum would say if you can't start building your brand too early, especially if you are good enough to go pro. Going pro, huh? Do you have dreams of going pro? No, he's not. He wants to be shoveled into it. I thought about it. I know I'm good enough. It doesn't hurt to get more playtime in, at least as long as I don't injure myself. Are you having second thoughts about this? What would you be doing otherwise? Would it surprise you that I'm studying business? Most athletes I know are usually studying something like communications or sports science. That doesn't sound right to me, but... Well, in Catelyn's own personal experience, it's fine. Well, I personally find business much more fascinating. As my dad told me, as expensive as college is, if you go, then you find something which you might use. Oh, Tyrone, you sad, sad creature. I feel so sorry for you. That's my problem. Studied business. There is something to be said for doing something you love as well. I mean, if you hate it, then you're going to be miserable for a good part of your life. Oh, so good. Doing something you love. If you hate it, you're going to be miserable for a good part of your life. Agreed. I just don't know what I want to do. Well, you still have time. Yes, the rest of your life. And you, what would you do? Would you go pro afterward? It depends. I would probably say going pro. I mean, what is the main reason you play basketball? Because I find it fun. If you go pro, then at least you can still play. I realize it's a lot more competitive, but if you're certain of your skills, I am, then that's what I would recommend. But at this moment, the last of the smell had vanished, and Tyrone is standing right next to you. He grips his basketball a bit tighter. And he asks like he wants to say something, but doesn't know what to say. Cat got your tongue? Tyrone's eyebrows rise in surprise, and for a moment you think a bit of fear crossed his face. Then he chuckles, though there is a subtle hollowness to it. No, I was just wondering if you wanted to go out for an ice cream sometime. Though I don't know if you would find it exciting, though, enough. I mean, you did mention skydiving. If we combine the two, well, I think it might be the best tasting ice cream you had after the jump. I'd like to stay on the ground, thank you very much. So, what's your favourite flavour? A pistachio. Really? I pegged you more of a strawberry fan, you know, since you admitted to liking the colour of red. No, he didn't. Not in everything, especially ice cream, and you? I don't know what this relates to. I think it's... I mean, if I was writing the story, maybe it'll be a trick question. Chocolate's best. Chocolate's always the best. And chocolate you shall receive. Listen, I still have a few other things to do, so I will take you up on the ice cream later, okay? I can't say I'm not a little disappointed. Well, I will see you later. She's put him off again. Today you were extra cautious, as there was a memo stating that it would be inadvisable to touch the lawn gnomes as the university wouldn't be liable for any injuries from them. Lawn gnomes. I like this universe a lot. Friday the 13th. You sigh with relief as you made it through another shift of work. Most of the time you noticed Ashley glancing your way. A couple times she acted like she wanted to say something, but then thought better of it. Is everything alright, Ashley? You've been acting weird all day. I guess it's been obvious about it, hasn't it? I've been obvious about it even. Let's just say that in a hypothetical situation, if I needed help burying a body, you'd be the last person I'd ask. Oh, what? Catelyn, where did that come from? I'm sorry. Is everything alright? You've been acting weird all day. I guess it's obvious. Let's just say that in a hypothetical situation, if I needed help burying a body, you'd be the last person I'd ask. Okay. I'll have you know that you probably couldn't find anyone better at digging a man-sized hole. Why... Ashley stops talking as you raise a single eyebrow at the strange admission. Man-sized hole. What? Never mind. No, keep going. I like to talk about man-sized holes. Why do you know how fast you can dig a man-sized hole? Well, you see, evasion doesn't become you. Either you buried a few bodies in the woods, or you practiced doing so. Whichever one it is. Consider me intrigued. Are you quite alright there, Catelyn? As to find out why. You're going to keep pressing, aren't you? You give a slight nod and assent, an amused smile crossing your face. Yes, murder doesn't bother you. Okay, Ashley. Fine, you can say it is a practice of sorts, and before you ask, I won't tell you why I'm digging holes. Every lady has to keep some secrets. Just like you, for example. You have the most interesting perfume. Not sure why that would be a bit creepy, so what do I smell like? There's an earthy overtone to it. Earthy? What do you mean? Mushrooms aren't often considered earthy. So's mud. And more on the dirt side, maybe with a tad of mushroom thrown in. weird. This isn't some roundabout way to get me involved in mud wrestling night, is it? What? Pretty sure no, Catelyn. No, it isn't. Please don't take this the wrong way, but are you feeling alright? I'm feeling a little dead inside. If this is about the situation last week. No, it isn't. If anything, you're the one who was frightening last week. What do you mean? Don't play dumb. I saw your muscles bunch up as if you wanted to hit my stepdad, and the way your nails glinted in the light, I thought you were going to slice him into ribbons. You saw all that? I couldn't help but notice it. But the odor that has me concerned, well, I noticed it last week as well. Won't keep her nose out of our business. And just what is that? Have you ever heard how some animals can smell sickness in other people? So are you saying you're part bloodhound, so you think something is wrong with me? At least you didn't call me a bitch. Anyways, that is what my nose is telling me. I mean, you've been a little irritable lately. Oh, look, I'm feeling fine, maybe a little tired, but can you honestly say that you don't have days like that? No, I can't. Besides, if I had a cold, wouldn't everyone else at work have it? If you so much as had a sniffle, I would have sent you home to rest for a few days. There you go. Not to change the subject, but I have a question for you. What is it? Between last week and now, it's been pretty obvious that you've been keeping a close eye on me. I realize that I may be a new girl and I could be misreading the situation, but do you... What? Feelings for me? Catelyn, why are you asking that? Would it be a bad thing if I did? Oh, I wouldn't trust that question. Answer, should have just asked me out. No. Only if I can't get a direct answer, I guess. Only if you didn't give someone a direct answer. I mean, we can dance around the issue, asking questions all we want. Fine. The answer is yes. I mean, I know I shouldn't. Just because we work together, that shouldn't be a problem. That's not it. You're diseased! Is it the babysitter thing? Maybe I think it adds a touch of spice to things. No, it's... Catelyn, you're disturbed. The two of you walk side by side in silence for a few minutes before Ashley sneaks a kiss onto your cheek. A little something to remember me by. I'll see you later. Well, need one of those because otherwise I don't confirm my life choice. I'm going to spend the entire day getting all wrinkled as a prune. And there we go. Okay, it is 10:40. I've been going for 3 hours. My mouth is like a... I don't know... wet and dry sandpaper, I guess. I really like this. I really like this game. The only little drama is the missing extra help on that final check on the words. I appreciate that. You know, you don't get that chance. If you can't find the person. This is really a very good game. Then I'm really very easygoing when it comes to things like that. Compared to other people. I like the story. most of the relationships trouble me. I like Victor a lot more. I like Ashley a lot more. I like Nadia a lot more. I'm freaking worried about Sabrina right now. 'Cause, you know, nightmare with her involved. And, Tyrone, I'm a little worried about Tyrone as a person. So I'd say Tyrone's the, Oh, I guess maybe it's too early for me to really tell. But she can obviously look after herself, right? She can pretty well look after herself. Yeah, he needs help. Yeah, and these two are actually reasonably normal people. Good game. I do like it. I mean, yeah, I do like it. It's left a lot of ambiguity. A lot of ambiguity with a touch of confusion. If it wasn't for the touch of confusion, the ambiguity would be very good, but maybe it's just me being tired. A very good game so far. Really quite enjoying it. Hope I get all of the bittersweet endings. That would be awesome. Yeah. Yeah. There's no saving this character model though. The hair's nice. Hair's nice. Alright. I'm gonna save. Save there, I guess. Save! I'll save there. Save there. Yep. Okay. Right. So I'm going to say goodbye for tonight. And I definitely gotta find out how this story goes on. And yeah, so yeah, have a good night everybody. Bye.